Alright. So, for those of you playing the home game, I have Hat with me, and this will be part one of two videos that's going to be out. The second will be, of course, the overflow, which we promised on the podcast, where we answer questions that we weren't able to get to during the podcasts themselves. But this one I wanted to do a little bit of a debate post-mortem. So Andy Warski has been making internet waves quite a bit recently, and just the night that we're recording this, he had Richard Spencer and Sargon of Akkad debate one another. Well, debate's me being gracious, I'm not gonna lie, but had the two of them debate one another, and as the also Styx Hexenhammer was on there. Millennial Woes and V ducked in, or came in at the last minute as well. And it was actually going on while I was doing a stream on Twitch. And I had to go to the restroom, and I used that as an excuse to like watch a little bit of it. I was getting kind of tired. I tried to lay down, and that didn't work out. So I put the debate on and watched the rest of it. And there, first thing I want to talk about is like some interesting revelations, which I think Hat and I have kind of called before. So, and Hat, I want to get your reactions to this. The first one, of course, that I found the most interesting was that he said that he wouldn't want to be a serf in his own ethno-state.
Called it.
So that I found very interesting.
Well, we called it.
Yeah. The second one was that if he was the leader of this supposed ethno-state, that if he felt that there was an outside influence trying to influence his ethno-state over the internet, he would shut it down. Yeah.
Oh. So much for the tolerant alt-right.
Oh, absolutely. It gets better. He said that some people are born to rule.
Oh my God.
And there were some lies he made too. First off, he lied and said that Irish was considered white in 1790 by America.
Nope.
What like anybody who knows anything about which he knows nothing, knows anything about the old immigration bills, is that the Irish were very much looked down upon and were not considered white. Like it's wow.
No, they were absolutely considered inferior. Mm-hmm. I mean that's where we get the stereotypes of drunken fighting Irish from. That stems from that prejudice.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
So that was a blatant lie. And he got called out on it, and then he just tried to move on. Like he was like watching Richard Spencer try to debate, literally, you know how you'll say like a leftist is like trying to nail Jello to the wall? So was Spencer. Mm-hmm. He was literally like trying to nail Jello to the wall.
Oh my God.
And I think that's what, like, and this is the reason I say debate, and I don't think it really was one. You know, I did that video about debates as boxing matches, and I kind of felt like that's how it was treated. With, and no offense to the parties involved, well, maybe to Spencer, but, and maybe to Millennial Woes, because I'll get to that too. With Spencer, it was just, he kept moving his goalposts. He would not give straight answers, and I think the reason being is he knew what it would mean if he did give a straight answer, and what exactly it would say. And I'll admit, Sargon and V at the end were trying to get him in a gotcha, to get him to say something stupid, and they succeeded, because Richard Spencer has given this speech about football before, and about how it weakens the white race or something like that, and he's not a fan of that sort of thing, because it's like a faux nationalism or something along those lines. It's a nonsense speech. But V asked him about Japanese anime and video games.
Oh Lord.
because those two also have a very similar effect on people. And he would not, this is what I find so funny, he would not denounce Japanese animation. But isn't that an influencing force from a different culture? Wouldn't you shut that down with the rest of the internet, Richard?
No, Micah. You gotta consider where he's coming from. He's a wannabe Nazi, so he's got to be okay with the Japanese. You know?
Fair point. But my point is that he refused to do it because he was playing to the crowd. And that's all he really does is he spouts propaganda. He didn't make a cohesive argument in this. If anything, I don't think Sargon did that great of a job of it, but Styx Hexenhammer did. Styx really picked him apart in regards to like his ideas. And here's a couple other crazy statements. Apparently Poland is an ethno-state.
Poland is an ethno-state.
Poland is an ethno-state.
Oh my fucking god.
And he said that, now here's the thing, and this shows how little he knows about Israeli immigration, is he says that this is the thing the alt-right likes to say, is like, oh, our model would be like Israel, in where there is a right of return with Israeli law in regards to immigration, meaning that the nation is a safe haven for all Jewish people.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason for that, is because, you look throughout history, there's been problems with anti-Semitism. I've had people ask me about the Crusader imagery that we use on our on our work, and and they're like, well, do you have an issue with Jews? And it's like, no, not at all.
No, we certainly do not.
Say what was the name of the king of Jerusalem in Kingdom of Heaven?
Oh dear Lord, it's been years since I've seen that movie.
Let me look it up real quick.
Go for it.
But the idea, there's an idea in that film. Oh, King Baldwin, that was it. Oddly enough.
I'm gonna be king.
But King Baldwin's idea of the Christians are in charge, but this is a place for Jews. This is a place for people of all backgrounds. Israel is right now, and that's where Spencer was wrong. I could immigrate to Israel if I wanted to. I'm not Jewish. And this is the thing. It's like, and nobody grilled him on that, because I don't think a lot of people have actually taken the time to look up Israeli immigration law. But there's ways to that a citizen could come in, and it's just like how American immigration is supposed to work. Where you have to naturalize. And Poland's the exact same way. I looked that up beforehand. And Poland does not have a naturalization, or not. I'm sorry, doesn't have a right of return for Polish people. Mm-hmm. If so, half the people in Chicago would be, or half the white people in Chicago would be leaving. But but no such thing exists. So the idea of saying that Poland is an ethno-state of sorts, like, what? No. So there was consistent lies from him. Well, either lies or he just doesn't know. I mean, he's just stupid. And that's we'll probably get alt-right trolls who look at this video. I'm just going to say this. Spencer's got to be either one of two things. He's got to be historically ignorant, or he has to be an idiot. Like, that's it. Is he either doesn't know, or he does know. Actually, no, three possibilities. He either doesn't know and just hasn't looked it up, hasn't done the research. He doesn't know because he's not smart enough to understand. Or third, he does know and he's being willfully dishonest. In which case, those are my three main critiques against the alt-right anytime that they argue something is that they are either uninformed on the subject and they don't care to know, they're just not very smart, or they do know and they are being willfully dishonest. The third one is what I see a lot from people like James Alsop or Nick Fuentes or things like that, when they talk about civic nationalism. They'll lay things at the feet of civic nationalism that really are the faults of neoliberalism, which is not a civic nationalistic idea. It abhors nationalism. So that in and of itself was insane. And also, basically, what he kind of acknowledged, but didn't wouldn't come out and say, is the concept of a white person, quote unquote, is a purely American idea. And one thing that, and this was a good point that was made by Sargon and Styx, was that the reason that so many people groups had come over from America, English, Irish, Scottish, my ancestors, immigrated here, I believe it was during the Civil War, or at least the Scottish side of my birth family did. Mm-hmm. And, and all these people were able to get over those old conflicts, and it took time, was because of a sense of national pride. But here's the thing. That basically means that these issues that were ethnic in nature were dismissed because of an idea. And Spencer the whole time was arguing against the idea that ideas can rule a nation.
Has he not looked at the reason why America was founded to begin with?
I don't think he honestly... I think that, again, it's something that he's willfully dishonest about.
It certainly seems to be that way. I mean, it honestly reminds me of, SJW logic. You know the counterpoints, and instead of trying to defend yourself against them, you just brush them away like they're no big deal, or sweep them under the rug to hope that nobody's going to call you out on those points, and if they do, skirt around it if you have to.
Yeah, and that's what he did, and he did the same thing with Roaming Millennial.
Yeah,
when he talked to her, I think it was a year ago. He completely dismissed the idea that the amount of interracial relationships are increasing. Completely swept it under the rug.
Yeah. I mean, because his idea, at its core, and I think that's why Sargon and Styx were trying to get him on the gotcha stuff. He knows that his ideas can't fly on their own, and if he comes out and explicitly says what he believes in, he's going to be crucified. He's going to be found out for what he truly is. Mm-hmm. So he has to dress it up as best as he possibly can. And yes, that includes obfuscating the facts. Yeah.
And I think that what it was really telling is this guy thinks that he would be a king in an ethno-state. That's what it came across to me as. Is that he hasn't even entertained the idea of being low class in his own system. No. And I'll say this: I have been low class in capitalism, in this system, and I would take it over being forced into something else. So
he sees himself almost as a revolutionary, but not a revolutionary that wants something for the greater good, but one that just wants to supplant himself as the new dictator.
Oh, absolutely. And here's the really interesting part is this made me feel shitty for defending his right to free speech. It's why did I waste my time? Is aside from what he said about the internet, He also said that part of politics is violence. And I'm thinking, like, so you getting punched in the face is part of the national process? Are you fucking kidding me?
No, violence is necessary when tyranny rules.
Yes.
If he honestly believes that the system that we have now is tyrannical, he's a fucking moron.
Well, he doesn't, and he did not say so, because he consistently said, he's like, well, under this system, I have natural rights, when he was talking about, you know, whether or not the person who punched him should be arrested and so on. So he's like, I have rights, and they were infringed upon, so yes, you should have been arrested. It's like, well, dude, so you're willing to take advantage of our nation, recognizing your rights as your God-given rights, but you would be so willing to take away those rights if you were in power? You're a scumbag.
Yeah.
And
it's exploitation at its core.
It's preposterous to me. And Millenial Woes. He was basically there to be Richard Spencer's cheerleader, to be frank. I mean,
what do you expect?
I mean, I already didn't have a high opinion. I've never had a high opinion of Millenial Woes, but in this particular conversation, that's all he was doing. And what he said at the end, his final words, I have a direct response to that. He basically said that people who don't agree with his ideology are not acting for the benefits of white people. Or the white race, as he likes to say, because of his accent. Let me say this to Millenial Woes and to anybody who thinks like him. I didn't elect you. I don't want you as my supposed representative. You do not represent my best interests, because I don't want to be a serf in an ethno-state. I want to be able to earn. I want to be able to do what I want and rise up in society to whatever is, or whatever becomes the consequence of my own actions.
To be the master of your own destiny.
Exactly. I desire that, and that is my God-given right to do. So, on top of that, the one place on Earth where white people, quote unquote, as you like to say, which, by the way, I'm of Scottish descent, and I think you're an embarrassment to Scots everywhere. But I wasn't elected by the Scottish people. So really, that statement I just made doesn't really mean that much. I just don't like you. White people have made more gains in society under American civic nationalistic ideas than they have anywhere else in the world. It's a fact. We have made more gains. Like, if we are a group, we have made more gains here than in this system than anyone else. And the same can be said of many other people groups. And I think that this idea, again, that this fucking doofus smoking cigarettes in his dad's basement, and we know you live in your dad's basement, by the way. I think it was The Guardian did a piece on him. And yeah, he lives in his dad's basement and he never leaves, apparently. You speaking like you speak for all of us. Dude, you don't even get off your ass and work. How the fuck do you know what my life's like and what my struggles are? Insanity. This idea that these chuckleheads think that they can speak for me and my interests is fucking ridiculous.
Or really anyone's.
Yeah.
I mean, if he is not out there struggling himself, how can he say that he relates to the experience of the working white man?
Fuck off.
How?
Give me a fucking break. Those of us, motherfucker, this studio that I have put in my home, it's not even finished yet. my home, I have earned through my own blood, literally the blood that I have shed, literally through sweat, literally through tears. Working hard. Working, traveling for months at a time to forge a future for myself. And you sit in your fucking dad's basement, smoke cigarettes, and complain about oppression. Get fucked!
He's absolutely no better than the fucking far-left elitist pricks whose parents send them to Ivy League schools so they can get degrees in fucking gender studies and sociology and what have you, and bitch about being oppressed.
Basically. And this is going to be my final words on this. Our ancestors died, bled at Bannockburn and other battles to resist a tyranny that you and Richard Spencer and people like you would willingly put into place. You disgust me. Get a fucking job, you prick. Hatman, what are your final words, man, on this subject?
My final words are these. All men must be free to be, to live, to earn.
Well said.